Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Today, I and my cousin Bogdan, we are going to discuss an interesting issue, an interesting decision made by the Canadian government, or better put, by Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, which I think might sound close to thievery, but hey, we are entitled to our assessments and our personal opinions on the matter. First, hello, Bogdan. How are you today?
Hi, thank you for having me in your program, and thank you for responding to the fact that I am so outraged by this piece of news that actually passed through the media, through the Canadian media, very low altitude, and only in celebratory way of reporting it. And it was the day it was on, and after one day it really disappeared. Even if I believe it would be of a huge interest for Canadians and for the whole world.
Okay, well, the title, the issue is this article that I'm about to read for you, and then we're going to discuss. I have a few points lined up here that Bogdan and I will discuss. So it is about the largest land transfer in Canada's history, benefits Indigenous Canadians. Now, there's a lot of contradictions over there, I would say, that Bogdan and I will unpack and we're going to discuss. We're going to compare and contrast this land transfer with a land transfer in Ukraine that hundreds of thousands of people are dying for. Here, it was just done by a stroke of a pen by a semi-dictator weasel Trudeau. So let me read you this article. So I'm going to just translate to this right here. So this is from Google. The title is the largest land transfer in Canada's history. I'm going to read its content so we can discuss on it. So that's the weasel guy over there. He's like a freaking Jesus drama, whatever teacher he is. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has signed devolution, not evolution, devolution agreement with the Indigenous territory of Nunavut. Nunavut. I'm sorry, Nunavut. That's how I'm going to pronounce it because I can and because that's the way I want to pronounce Nunavut. Transcript: 2 million square kilometers. Bogdan and I will put this in the context of the size of France, the size of Texas, and the size of Ukraine. So you understand the magnitude of this transfer. So 2 million square kilometers of land and water have been transferred from Canada's government to the government. Very interesting what kind of government they have, I wonder, of the indigenous territory of Nunavut. It's the largest land transfer in the history of Canada. Like the Luhansk and Donetsk in Ukraine, not the largest, but it's getting there. Nunavut premier. Okay, we're not gonna marks the historic return of decision-making power of the people of Nunavut because they live in community and they're all equal. Now, I'm quoting. What a historic moment we were just able to achieve. Who's we? I am humbled to be here, to be able to get the historic signing of the devolution agreement. It has been many years in the making with many of the leaders who had that vision and decision making coming a lot closer to home. Who's home? My question. And today marks a new beginning where Nunavut will make decisions for Nunavut. And that's a historic moment. Okay, I'm happy for you guys. I'm gonna uncork a champagne for you. Now, Nunavut, which has a population of around 40,000 people. Those will be very soon billionaires, my friends. 40,000 people on a land of 2 million square kilometers. That's instant billionaire class over there and comprises most of Canada's Arctic archipelago. Officially became a territory in 1999. Now listen what they get over there. The devolution agreements signed in recent days give Nunavut full control of its lands and its resources, oy vey, which includes gold, diamonds, and rare earth minerals such as oil and gas. That's why they are all billionaires, because that's their land, right? In Canada. So a group of people in the land of Canada, in the country of Canada, are given that to be in charge of 40,000 people. Okay, it also grants the territory the right to collect royalties from those resources as well as the ability to amend the land and resources management legislations. Gonna be deforestation 100%. The territory's former senator says it's a significant moment of the Nunavut territorial government and its people. Oy vey, all these Canadian so-called elected officials are celebrating. And let me read you this, and I'm quoting. I actually think it's an act of decolonization. This is a self-hating imbecile. But because the remote colonial administration in Ottawa may be well-intentioned through they have been running, though they have been running our affairs without us having control. The territory rich resources deposits have gained increased attention in recent years as climate change continues to make the Arctic territory more accessible for mining and shipping. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says the transfer in resource ownership makes possible a stronger and more empowered future for the territory and its traditional owners. Are you crazy? Why don't we all go back to Europe and some in Africa and some in Asia? How about that? But Trudeau first. He won't go. And I'm quoting, but the people who live on this land, the Inuit, oh, there's no Eskimo anymore, it's Inuit, have lived here. I learned that in college, that it's a derogatory term to say Eskimo. It's Inuit nowadays. Have lived here and created prosperity and, oh my fuck. Bogdan, let me put you up here for a second. Where are you? Oh my. So, Bogdan, what kind of prosperity was created by Inuit people that you can take advantage of? Do you know? Mr. Trudeau was talking about it here.
I'm not aware of that prosperity that was created by the Inuit people there. And in any case, Mr. Trudeau was not elected by those 40,000 people. He was elected by 40 million people, which is a little bit different. And he should represent the interest of 40 million people, not of 40,000. If he was the premier of Nunavut, he should celebrate. But he is the Prime Minister of Canada who just lost the control of 2 million square foot kilometers.
Oh my. Okay, so I see you can't find any any reasons for prosperity created. Okay, well, let me finish the article. I got two more paragraphs here. So let me return to this. Where am I? Here. So it says, but the people who live on this land, the Inuit, have lived here and created prosperity and culture and the communities and a future for themselves from time immemorial. I don't even know since when. They don't even know since when because they didn't have a written language, did they? It's also, or if they had, I would like to see it. It's also around sovereignty. Did you hear sovereignty, Ukraine? And it's around people's right to self-determination. Oh my, what about the guys from Crimea? This guy is an idiot. And didn't they vote for self-determination and the guys in Donbass? And building a better future for themselves in a complicated world. Talks of a devolution agreement for Nunavut started almost a decade ago. Mr. Patterson says the decision finally brings Nunavut in line with the kind of authority granted to Canada's two other territories, Yukon and Northern Territories, which respectively signed similar agreements in 2003 and 2013. Oh, so you're not at the first strike, that's strike number 3. And I'm quoting, it's giving Nunavut province-like authority that the two other territories already won. They won, they were given. What I don't think they won anything. But anyway, in 2003 and 2013, and Nunavut and Yukon and Northwestern Territories. Mr. Trudeau says the official term devolution does little to communicate the significance of the transfer in control. No, it does a lot, which officially begins in 1st of April 2024, and this is the last garbage of statement coming from Trudeau. Inuit have hunted and fished and lived on these lands for generations, some going back well before recorded history. Who records history? That history is written. That's history. The rest is talks. Today begins a new chapter in the history of Nunavut, a transformative chapter. The formal name for this process is devolution. But in many ways, it's more than an evolution. Oh, these guys talk like communists, Bogdan. I'm sorry. Remember when we were in the communist Romania and you had over there the golden whatever era of Ceausescu and
the most
so
loved, the most loved child of the people.
correct. So it's more than an evolution, the devolution. Isn't this a negation? Because I know it's involution, it's evolution and devolution. Devolution is an involution, isn't it? Bogdan.
I think maybe there was one person that was smart enough, but it wasn't. He wasn't in power to do anything. So at least they made this name. So at least it's a. They realize how inappropriate all this thing is. So they, at least to say it in the name. And these stupid people that are really in power, they didn't realize that about these things. That's kind of how I believe, because they would have called it evolution, obviously.
Well, I have here, we agreed on some points. We're going to have at least 4 points of discussion here. We're going to unpack this situation in first, the biggest theft, or how do you want to call it, perpetrated by the elected officials of Canada. So those guys, as Bogdan said, were elected to represent Canadians, not 40,000 future billionaires. Number two, size, the magnitude of this situation. 2 million square kilometers, correct? We're going to compare that with the theft, or maybe the devolution. Is that devolution in Ukraine? Can we call it that way? The third one is que bono. Who benefits? The perpetrators. Let's name the names of the guys who feel empowered by this. And I wonder how much Trudeau's family will get out of this. And the fourth would be no media, as Bogdan said. This is a dead article, came and left. The Canadians are, oh, maybe you guys heard about it. I would be happy to know that you heard about this one. So is why is no reaction, or at least is all seems to be we're about to celebrate this. So these are the main points that we're going to discuss, the system and the magnitude. Let's start with the biggest theft and the perpetrators, the ones in the office. Bogdan, why would you call this the biggest theft? I got 3 maps here when we're going to go to the magnitude size, which is going to be the second one.
I mean, it's a matter of the rights to administer a land with everything that means, from renting and to the resources. Think about Hong Kong. Hong Kong was in China, but it was administered for 99 years or whatever, a number of years, by UK. It was as if it was not in China. So who administers and who is pretty much taking all the decisions, is making all the money, is making all the deals. So pretty much 40 million people before would have benefited from whatever deals were made regarding all the resources. Now there are pretty much 40,000, which, by the way, there will not be 40,000. There will be a very small clique of people that they would present themselves as elected officials of Inuits. I don't know even how well all that process works, but eventually...
What kind of system will they have? What kind of political system? Would it be a democracy? Would it be a tribal hierarchy, or all together? What's it going to be?
Like even the whole point of, even if they elect, when you talk about 40,000 people, that I would say most of them will not be the richest in the world. If Exxon or some other company would come and give them $200, they would vote whomever will sign with Exxon the best deals. So and this is where the theft is that pretty much before you would have had to deal with a bureaucracy, but it would have been Ottawa, it would have been a big bureaucracy, and now you will have to deal with a very small group that can be easily changed. That person Algekek, I don't know I don't know, there was this like Eagle Eye or whatever name he would have, right? That guy can be changed in 3 seconds. Like like any big corporation that will go there will invest in one building, and then Eagle Eye will go, and another guy will come. So that's why it's a theft, because pretty much that territory, it's it's now a black box for everybody that wants to go there and use it. It's going to be cheap. It's going to be cheap, and it was taken from 40 million people, given to a few people.
Well, they said over there it's the diamonds, gold. What was that? What was the word used by these guys? Let me just, I want to make sure that I'm using the right terms here. Where are you guys? Um, Lands, gold, diamonds, rare earth minerals, as well as oil and gas. That's a very, very rich region. Now, let's move to the second one, the second part of the issues that we have to discuss here, or we decided to discuss, which is size, the magnitude. I will change this, and I'm going to remember this: 2 million square kilometers. As a size, I'm going to show you Ukraine. I'm gonna start actually with Texas, the state of Texas in the great United States of America. Then with French Nation France, the République or Les République or La République. Which one is it, Bogdan?
La République Française.
Oh, merci beaucoup, mon ami. So we're gonna go to the France, a great country, and then we're gonna go to Ukraine. I'm gonna show you this piece of land of Nunavut dwarfs all three of those territories. Texas, biggest, right? If you just ignore Alaska, biggest. France, big country in Europe. And then is what? Ukraine. So let's go to this. First, we're going to go to Texas, Wikipedia, obviously, which nobody can claim that we don't use the authorized sources. So Texas has 695 660 kilometers, square kilometers. That is 700,000. So this land of Nunavut is 3 times bigger than Texas. You see over there, Texas, 3 times bigger than Texas. That's the first one. The second one, the French have only 643. So basically almost the same. So 3 times smaller. France is, so let's put it the other way. The Nunavut have 3 times bigger than France. Three Frances, 3 Texases, and let's go to our favorite, the Ukrainians. The Ukraine total area of Ukraine, as it is right now, without the theft from the Russians, is 603,000 square kilometers. Again, this is more than 3 times the whole Ukraine. Now I'm going to show you in perspective. Let me put Bogdan here a little bit. Right there we are. I'm going to just find, oh, here it is, Ukraine with the theft from the Russians. And you're going to see a map right there. Remember, that was 600,000 kilometers, square kilometers, the whole this, right here. Now, how much do the Russians ask for? Just a little piece, about what, 10 to 20% right here. So can Trudeau sign that for Putin? I guess he can. I mean, this portion, I'm not implying that the Ukrainians should give it to them. I'm making just a comparison. This is how much these guys are fighting for, versus Mr. Trudeau giving what's his name, the Nunavut, that. Bogdan, talk about the size, the magnitude of this land and the implications of this circumstance.
So if I wanted to come into your program, is because it says the biggest land transfer in Canada. I truly believe that is the biggest land transfer in a history of the world. If we don't take into consideration Alaska's transfer, it's hard for me to believe, because 2 million square kilometers is the whole size of Western Europe. So all these people that were fighting for generations for here and there, it's their whole size. So So I really believe that is the it's the big, and it is important for the humanity, because this is a pretty hefty size with many resources. And don't forget that once a certain resource is taken for exploitation, it's going to take 20, 30, 40 years, and then it's gone. So pretty much you give this territory now to Eagle Eye. Eagle Eye will sign all the things that have to be signed. He will receive peanut, but it's going to for Eagle Eye will be a lot. For Trudeau already received far more, because he basically don't believe that he just let this territory go away for nothing, right? It's just that it's simpler to
For
go through
justice,
Eagle
Bogdan.
Eye.
I think it's for justice,
Yes, for
reparations,
justice,
and
for reparations, and whatever. Yes. So then we come here. So I believe that Ukrainian government, the Russian government, they represent their people's and their territories' interest, and they fight for it. Our Justin, he's not fighting for our interest, and he was not put there to give territory away. And I really fail to see in even like I don't see this type of behavior and also being accepted and
this is like
celebrated.
like a king or something. I don't know.
Yes, and why wouldn't this be a type of referendum and ask the people? Uh, they may not understand what one square kilometer. Like if you take all this territory and you divide it by the number of people in Canada by 40 million people.
40,000.
No, no,
Oh,
no,
Canada. Oh,
40
Canada.
million.
Okay.
This means 500,000 500,000 square feet per person. Think about that. You stay into a house of 1,000 square feet. How much very small land you have around each of you. Think about, and then think about that. Right now, this I don't know, this corrupt individual gave 500,000 square feet from each of you to Eagle Eye.
Well, that's democracy for us, I guess. And I know that there were some other, and this is not just to just I have to add that I can remember maybe the Louisiana purchase was bigger, but it was, you know how the purchase was a purchase versus a signature of I giving it to you. It's not the same thing. Or if you want the when we got the half of Mexico again, how many states over there? Five or something. Nevertheless, this I don't think anything like this happened before. Not even the kings of the emperors gave to some just like that. But hey, I think the Canadian people should have had a say on this, direct say, not those guys. Because after all, Trudeau gave from Canada. He didn't give from himself. He made a
Exactly.
decision in the name of Canada. He represents Canada, not his family. But let's go to the third one, which is Kebono. The profiteers, we got, I guess, Trudeau. I don't know what kind of perks he might got out of this.
I really believe that this type of signature, he is a well-made man for generations, because think about how many business deals will be made by Eagle Eye, and in some ways or another there will be some money funneled, which is far simpler in that case, because Trudeau will not be even going into any negotiation, so he will be a party that stays outside.
Maybe a fun,
So
maybe
yes,
like
so he will be most likely invited in other very expensive vacations, and we will not know why. And coming back a little bit about this situation of Aboriginal populations, uh, in that article was saying that it happened already before to the other territories. Now, when you do something that was done before, you do it if it was good. Now, if territories were given to these populations and their situation is very bad, it's all the time in the media you hear about how poor these populations are, how disenfranchised they are. Now, if they received this amount of land already in 2003 and in 2013, and this means that their life didn't improve, which means that this act of 2024, which is even bigger, will not improve also. So it's not a matter of benefiting the populations, because
Someone else doing
yes,
something.
yes, because obviously, taking into consideration how small the number of population is and how big the lands are, if the deal would be real for them, they should be, as you said, billionaires. The fact that they are not rich means that it's just something that is taken away from the very, very well organized law established by the UK colonizers, and is given to some people that have their own governance, and in there things are lost in translation, and the corruption is big, and it's not even trickling down to, to that population. So pretty much the aboriginals will not benefit. Eagle Eye and a few guys will benefit, and some political guys from Ottawa would benefit, and 100% the financial capital and big corporations that will go there and they will negotiate for peanuts, something that before would have really negotiated hard with truly professionals, individuals trained and whatever. So it's and we are going all to lose, because we Canadians, we lost this territory from the administration. Everything that comes from the royalties will not come to us. So whenever they are talking about balancing the budget, why wouldn't this have been a way of you find some resources there, you negotiate, you receive some money from various corporations over such a huge territory, you would find lots of contracts, many contracts. So pretty much we are the losers, the population, Canadian Nunavut, and some high level oligarchs will win from it. But it's presented as a very nice, well-hearted, well-intended act, which is a theft actually.
This is the fourth part, which is the media. Why the media, or how the media portrays this? What are the attitudes? What are the reaction of Canadians that you know of, or the medias, or in the Canadian media? How is this portrayed as a big success? Some people are very virtuous. They're gonna meet Jesus before we all do, or what's gonna not in that way, if you know what I mean. I mean, they're going to be first in line. That's what I mean at the judgment day.
First of all, the first very important thing is that it's a moral act, which eventually it's an economic act. So it's totally transferred from one to the other, and as a moral act is a very important moral act. Economic doesn't really matter too much. We are going to help these people because we have, and and now you feel good because you are moral, and on the other hand you pass as a very small thing that happened, like it's just you were good, a little bit good. You sign this 2 million square. Tomorrow we are going to sign, I don't know, another 2 millions. So it's it's amazing to see that such a territory given to Eagle Eye is, it's almost a no news or a moral act. It's almost, I don't even like, it's almost like you give your whole house and whatever house of all your relatives in the name of a moral act, and we don't talk more about it because yeah, that's it. Let's go to
And also,
mean girls quotes or whatever. So this pretty much is nothing. Now we still have to continue our life because this was nothing really. So it's an amazing way of seeing. I really think that this passed for beyond the radar of most of the Canadians, and they were stolen. And what is going to happen? Like, it's a rich country with poor people. this is the way we are led, not in Canada, but in everywhere. It's like richer country, wealthy country with poor people or poorer peoples, because there are contracts signed that are not benefiting the people. That's pretty much what it is. It's the way in which we elect some people that do not represent our interests. So the countries are rich, but we don't get any royalty from it. And then our standard of living plummets. Well, our taxes increase. I would have wanted to talk about the craziness of the Toronto budget, but this is another thing, in which for a few square feet of land you pay, like in the property tax, you pay that you cannot even think about it, and you give, on the other hand, as a moral act, 2 million square kilometers like this to Eagle Eye.
Swift hand. Oops.
Yes.
Well, let's put this in the context or contrast with the virtue signaling about Ukraine's would not give or give away land to the evil Russians, which, as I said, is about 10% of 600,000 square kilometers. That's Ukraine. 10% would be, 10% would be like 60,000. Is what would be if you're 600,000, 60,000. So they're crying for, not is not for me to decide. Okay, let's put it this way. But they cry for 60,000 square kilometers. These guys are dying in hundreds of thousands, and this guy, how about 2 million for you boys? What do you think about this, Bogdan?
Um, uh, it um, um, it is this is what is concerns me, is that uh, instead of uh, uh, instead of thinking about the acts, we are thinking about who is good and who is bad. And because we say uh, the colonial powers were bad, the Inuit people are good. Somehow these 2 million, if they go from one to the other, even if, by the way, the 40 million Canadians right now don't have anything to do with the colonial power of whatever, right? So pretty much you take from them, but you as a propaganda measure, you associate this transfer as a good thing. While in another situation, very small piece of land, it's going from the good people to the bad people. And in that case, we have to fight because it's going from the good to bad. And now, how how is it so easy to define who is good, who is bad? I would rather look for interests, and in some kind of situation, interests collide, and then there is an honest or objective decision, or a dishonest or subjective decisions. And when people cannot reach an agreement, there will be a fight. And in this case, there was nothing about an agreement, because you are talking about federal government that represents 40 million and also represents those Inuits. Very interesting, because they are also Canadians. So
Like a
it
family.
wasn't that it wasn't that territory. It wasn't even that territory would have been gone away to another country. No, it was, and now it's coming to 40,000 from that population, and this is good. Somehow this is good, and everybody should applaud this thing. And it's amazing how they can fight in some place. They can send bombs. They can send all the armies in the world for a territory that is 20 times less. And in here they just sign, which is a proof that they don't care really about territories or whatever. They care about the economic interest, and in this case their economic interest uh, was represented by this transfer, so it was good. In the other one, their economic interest is not represented, so they are fighting.
Well, we did what we did, Bogdan, and what can I say? I wonder when they're gonna go to get parts of Ontario. What are these guys going to do in Toronto? Going to move where? What are they going to do? I mean, by the same token, if you keep going like this, I mean, it's like you kick yourself out of your country. Okay,
It
Bogdan,
will be.
let's last word, a conclusion, anything you want to say before we end this
I, I
video?
I truly think that we should be very careful about what happens around us, because we go to work, we are living in 1,000 square feet apartments or whatever, or 2,000 square feet houses, and in the meantime some other people, and we are earning 50,000, $100,000. In the meantime, these public servants are dealing with billions and trillions of dollars, and are dealing with thousands of square kilometers. And if we let them continue this way, we are going to get more impoverished than the mujiks. If we don't take control, if we don't start to organize ourselves, and we just take whatever they tell to us, we are going to not own anything. That's what I try to say.
Well, I think that as the Germans are right now always, I mean, blamed for the Second World War, this guy is the current, the current population in Canada is not guilty of anything. Even if they want to attach any guilt on them, or you owe this, or you benefit of this. Look, for instance, at Bogdan or I, we obviously came here with our education and our upbringing from a different location with different attitude. We came here, we found the opportunity created by, and then we took advantage of it because our own attitude, hard work, saving, being a productive member of society, not given anything for free. We had to go and get it. I know Bogdan. Bogdan knows me. We know our lives very well. And then you see these guys just giving left and right. I don't think that's fair. That's just. Now I know that some people might say, "Well, that land was stolen by." Well, that land was stolen by those guys. I'm guessing by others before, and so on. If you think those were as these guys are claiming the ancestral, you don't know that. Why? Because they didn't fucking read anything. They didn't write anything. What are you talking about? Oh, you're gonna go to the carvings now? Okay. So anyway, this is about this transfer of struck of a pen by a guy who's just a mediocre tyrant. Thank you very much for being with me, Bogdan, and you guys. Thank you very much for being with us today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.